here the voice are they are going to say about importance of professional code of ethics. Let's see.
By illuminating an example code of ethics. So in this example, for all information security professionals who are certified by ISC² are required to adhere to ISC² code of ethics. There are only 4 canons, and we'll paraphrase them now. To protect society, the common good, and infrastructure. The second one is act honorably, honestly, justly, responsibly, and legally. And the third, provide diligent and competent service to principals. And the final canon is advance and protect the profession. So this is just one example of professional ethics, and they can take many forms. So Eder, I'm curious, how do you define professional ethics based on your experience?
Hi, Chad. Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me for this session. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. And about this question, I think ethics is mandatory for everyone in cybersecurity nowadays, and we are in face of a lot of different situations. And if we need to have a strong feeling of ethics, because dealing with different conditions. I think what I learned about ISC² and with complementary with my background, ethics are fundamental to keep working in our area nowadays. I think ISC² give us a solid pillars, 4 pillars about ethics. And in during my profession or in my career, I was learning that it's important incorporate these conditions about ISC² reinforce in every certification, in every document, in every publication, and join with feelings about what I learned when I was a kid, about my father told me in the past, my family. I think the whole is a we need to join any point that you learn and apply in our market in cybersecurity. I think it's the main point.
Okay, great. And I would like to hear a little bit more about, in your experience, and how those ethics influence your concept of right and wrong.
A lot, because the market and the conditions of economic and wars and stuff like that, we have different situations for dealing about this point. Closer sensitive informations, and we'll pay a huge amount of money. And no, thanks. It was a very different situation for me, and I call the legal authorities here in Brazil, and I send them all the informations about the communication. I was invited by email, and no, is a point that it's me. My honor is not on sale, and I think this point is mandatory. And in the profession, we have daily. We are in face with these situations daily, because we have many criminal organizations interesting in achieve our information, because we are in face of customers information, company information, and in the black market, this information have a, 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 a paramount value. Is this? I think that's it.
And that's a great story, and that's part of why I was so excited to talk to you and talk to you about ethics, is so we can gather more of the international perspective. And you mentioned that somebody had contacted you through the mail for a bribe. Is that something? And I don't want to single out Brazil and say this only happens in Brazil, because I know it happens other places. It happens here in the U.S. as well. But is that something? Do you think that's more commonplace in Brazil, or is it still somewhat rare to happen?
I think in Brazil happens a lot because we have problem with our society here. It's a society that if someone have the opportunity to achieve a advantage or some gifts or whatever, the people are in face and sometimes they accept the offer. It's not my case in this situation, and as I mentioned, my honor is not for sale. But here in Brazil, we have this difficulty because the corruption in our society is it's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, I'm trying to figure, I'm really curious. Does that, you said it's something that does happen often in Brazil. So is it also something that, is it, I want to say people from Brazil that are making those bribery offers? Is it something that seems to be domestic, or is it international? Is it other countries that are? And you don't need to name other countries if that's the case. I'm just curious if that's something that's internal to the country, or something that's other countries.
We have both scenarios here. We have competitors here. We have scenarios of malware or ransomware groups. It's like a criminal groups like Conti or other groups responsible for hijacking or ransomware inside the main companies, very important companies around the world, and it's common in both cases, from international and from nation here, because the culture here is a point for difficult dealing, and we have specific areas in our policy departments and fiscalizations for avoid corruption and bribery. Is a is a a sad point present in our society here in Brazil.
Okay, great. And from what you've talked about so far, you definitely believe in the ISC² code of ethics. You obviously have your own code of ethics,
Mhm.
that might be apart from what your country is. And obviously you have been in cybersecurity for a while, and you're a great cybersecurity practitioner. But what do you think makes your chosen profession a professional? What makes you a professional at in cybersecurity?
About this describing about my roles or my activities, or why I chose working for cybersecurity. Is this question?
Yes.
I think I start working for cybersecurity or for security area because cybersecurity doesn't exist 10 years ago. When I start working for this area, uh, why for why or why I decided to working in this area because the first point in security you have people with strong feelings about what is correct.